Hi, I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm the host of Best of Us in Retirement. And I want to talk today about, are you ready to retire? I think a lot of people, as a result of the coronavirus and being quarantined and staying at home, are asking this question and saying, maybe it's time, maybe I can take early retirement and change the path of my life. And I think that's a good question. But I think there are some questions you need to ask yourself relative to, am I ready to retire? And they fall into two categories. One is financial and the other is emotional. And that's what I want to talk about today. Have you considered these things? And so I came up with 5 questions that I think you should ask yourself to determine if in fact you're ready to retire. So let's address them. The first one, and the one that I think a lot of people don't consider, is how are you going to stay active? You have a social life right now, probably built around your fellow employees at whatever you do for a living. Well, that's going to go away. And what are you going to do? In my life, that was a major issue. In fact, the first 5 years of my retirement were difficult because I was basically forced out of my job and I lost that social activity. Now I've replaced it. I get out and I run 3 days a week. I run in the Senior Olympics. I'm the fastest 75 to 80-year-old in the state of Alabama in the 50, the 100, and the 200-meter dash. And I'm now going to have to prove that again next June in Orlando, Florida. But I keep active on that. And I think that is critical for me, and that I'm staying healthy. I believe one of the key parts of retirement is staying healthy. In fact, getting healthier. I am healthier in retirement than I was while I was working because I didn't get the exercise. Before the pandemic, I went to the gym 3 days a week at least to do yoga and to do spinning. I ride a bike. I'm going to Florida for 2 weeks and I'll take my bike. I'll put it in the back of my car and I'll probably be on my bike at least 3 days a week. So I stay active, and I think that is an important element of it. The second thing that I don't think people consider is they don't recognize that there are actually 3 stages of retirement. And this is a question you need to ask yourself. How are you going to deal with those 3 stages? And the first one is what I call the go-go years. When Nita and I retired, the first thing we wanted to do was travel. We've traveled all over the world. I retired in 2005. And since then, we've spent a month in Spain. We took a train trip up the East Coast and got on a train and went into Canada, got on a ship, went through the Great Lakes, came back to New York City, and came back to the United States. We spent a month in China. We've been to Vietnam. We've been to Italy. Those were our go-go years. We even took a 2-month cruise. That is, we went from Florida to England to Russia and then back to England and through the North Sea. And so we've done some tremendous travel. Those were our go-go years. Now we're into our slow-go years. Our slow-go years were really, I think, what put the brakes on them was the pandemic, because I wasn't willing to risk my health to get on an airplane and go like that. What I am willing to do, though, now is to get in my car, put my bike in the back seat, and drive to a city and stay in a nice hotel and ride my bike around the city and learn the city and eat at restaurants and visit people and maybe even interview people as a part of my YouTube channel. I did that with Steve Farmer in Nashville. He's a piano player for a country western band. So those are my slow-go years. Somewhere in the future, we're going to end up in the no-go years. And what is that? Our health is going to hit us such that we can't travel. Okay? We're not going to be able to take long walks on excursions off ships and things of that nature. We're going to need to be closer to our doctors. I hope that's at least another 10 years off. I'm working, I'm running, I'm exercising to try to push those off. But this is a question you need to ask yourself in retirement and plan for it. Not only just say, I'm going to travel. Where are you going to travel? How are you going to travel? What are you going to spend towards your travel? This is part of your planning process. You need to ask that question. Do you understand the stages of retirement? Because that also comes into some financial decisions, okay? And that brings us to the question number 3. Do you have enough income to support your go-go, your slow-go, and your no-go years? Do you have the money? I would suggest if you're contemplating early retirement, make contact with a financial advisor, okay? And let him work up a program. It's going to cost you maybe $600–700, but he should be able to create you a plan that says, okay, based on what you have and what you want to do, this is how the return you have to get on your investments in order to afford the lifestyle that you want. This is an important document. You can potentially do it on your own. I've done some videos where I show you how I create a spreadsheet, and you track your income, you project your return on investment, and your return on investment is going to be dependent upon you. Whether you are going to manage it yourself, I manage my own portfolio. I'm able to get an average of about a 30% return on equity, or return on investment a year. But I do it myself, and I do it every day. Every day I watch my portfolio, and I read and I study. It's just like right now. We know there's a semiconductor shortage, right? And we've got to get that back to the United States, right? What about 3D printing? Are you invested in any 3D printing stocks? Why would I do that? Can 3D printing print semiconductors? Yes. Are you invested in biotech? Are you aware that they have genome sequencing and genome editing that is going to take cancer out of my body? Is that important to me? My mother died of cancer when I was 8 years old. My father died of cancer. My daughter died of cancer. Yes, this is important to me. Do I know the stocks that are going to do the genome sequencing? Yes. Do I know the stocks that are going to do the genome editing, take the disease out of my... Yes. Am I invested in them? Yes. So am I getting the returns that are going to support my lifestyle? Yes. Now you can say, I'm not going to do that. Then give it to somebody else to do it. Or find the right ETFs and let them invest in it. ARK Invest is a clue. All right, so will your money last? Or do you have enough income? Will your money last? Okay, this is another element of the financial advisor. He'll tell you, and he'll tell you what rate of return you have to get in order for it to last. And then you can make a decision. Are you going to do it, or are they going to do it? Am I going to seek help elsewhere? Am I going to go to Carrie's Best of Us Investor channel and see what he's investing in? You make those decisions. But they have to be conscious decisions, because this is the rest of your life. The other element of the question, will your money last? Do you have the ability to create some mailbox checks? What's a mailbox check? A check that is based on something that you have done that will create a continuing, repetitive flow of income. One of those mailbox checks for me is from the books that I've written. I've written about 4 books. This is my favorite one. This is the one I think that can change your life. It is titled, Find Happiness by Discovering Who You Are and Why You Are You. This tape will take you through the path that I traveled to find out who Carrie is, why Carrie is the way he is. I watched a program last night on Abraham Lincoln, and I understand why Abraham Lincoln was the way he was. He lost his mother, he lost his sister, and he felt deserted by women. And so he had difficulty in making commitments to women. I learned something very similar. I lost my mother. My stepmother deserted me once she had her own child. Abraham Lincoln and I have a lot in common. As a result of that, knowing that, I was able to get rid of the unwanted roommate in my head that says, you're not worthy. No one can love you. Women, people desert you. I came to that conclusion, and I told that roommate, get the hell out. I want somebody who believes in me and believes I can achieve whatever I want to achieve. I'm dyslexic. I barely made it out of high school and college, but I write books. I've written 4 books. I do videos. I share my knowledge. I don't have to read in order to do that. So you create some mailbox checks. Maybe it's you flip homes and create rental income coming your way. This is a way to get through retirement. The beautiful thing about this and this video is even after I die, it's going to create mailbox checks. They don't come to the mailbox. They deposit them in my bank account now. We've moved beyond the mailbox. And then question number 5. Are your health care costs covered? Particularly if you're going into early retirement, before 65, before Medicare. I did a video just recently. If I get cancer, and as I said, a lot of my family has died from cancer, will Medicare take care of me? And what I learned is if I go into the hospital, my annual exposure is $5,100. I can take care of that. What I have to be conscious of is pharmaceuticals. That's the bankrupter of so many people who are over 65. They don't have the right coverage within their Medicare to take care of their pharmaceuticals. I talked to a gentleman the other day, $500 a month for a pill because of an accident he had. That can cripple some people. So you have to know what your Medicare will do. If you're retiring before Medicare, you got to know. Because I'll tell you, if you get cancer, my daughter got cancer. She died. She fought cancer for years. The bills just kept rolling in. But to give you some perspective, she died on December the 26, 2014. She went into the hospital 4 days earlier. That bill for that 4 days was over $200,000. My mother died of cancer in 1953. She was in the hospital from Thanksgiving to July the next year. That bill, my father received a bill in 1953 for over $70,000. That changed our lives. Now, there's a way he maneuvered through it, but that's another video. You need to know, is your health care going to be taken care of? This is a pit that you can fall into if you haven't done the proper preparation. So those are my 5 questions that I would have you ask yourself. Number 1, how will you stay active and productive? Number 2, have you considered the stages of your retirement? Number 3, do you have enough income to finance those stages of your retirement? Number 4, will your money last? Because again, if you're retiring early, it could be 30 years. And will it last? And if genome sequencing and genome editing comes along like I think it will, it could be another 30 years. Will your money last? Are your health care costs covered? So those are my 5 questions that I think you should consider. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, subscribe and hit the bell, and that way you'll be notified when I put out new videos. And if you'd like to help me find a cure for cancer and protect children from cancer, hit the join button down below, and you'll go through a process, and every month we'll hit your credit card for $4.99, and you'll join Warriors Team Shay. Shay was my daughter. If you want to learn more about that, go to the link in the description that tells you about Shay's story. All right, I enjoy talking to you. I hope you consider me a friend, because I want to make your retirement the best half of your life.